Hello, folks. Welcome to Nateland. I'm Nate Bargatze, Aaron Weber, Brian Bates. Summer is finally here, and we are ready. It's hot. Amplify your summer with bespoke post-themed boxes for people who care, from breezy summer styles and grooming goods to travel and outdoor gear. Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. Get started with the quiz at boxofawesome.com and use code NATE for 20% off your first box. That's code NATE at boxofawesome.com for 20% off your first box. Also, hello to HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. It's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com/14Nate and use code 14Nate for 14 free meals, including free shipping. Welcome, everybody. You know, I've debated of changing, seeing what people thought about changing Hello Folks.
To what?
To Let's Go Folks. Is that not maybe better? Let's go, folks.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it gets us out of the mix of everybody being hello folks. Like people say hello folks.
Yeah, just as a normal expression.
As a normal expression. And I mean, I've had people say hello folks. I mean, because there's been a couple of times someone said it, and then I think like they're saying it to us, and then you're like, oh, that's just how the guy speaks.
Yeah. So you want to do let's go.
Let's go, folks. Because we're making fun of Let's Go, no?
Yeah, I mean, that's not bad.
I'm on board. People are commenting let's go everywhere now.
Yeah.
After last week's episode. So
yeah.
I feel like we can't escape it anyway.
See what everybody thinks about it.
See how it feels.
See how it feels. Let's go, folks. Like, that's so specific that it's like, if you say that, then you definitely know who they are.
Right.
Like, that's how we can all talk to each other.
Because nobody says
and then
let's
we're just
folks.
trashing the let's go people. And they think, oh, that's cool. You say let's go. You're like, yeah, I do say it.
Yeah.
And then all of us folks know we're better than them. And that's the real goal here.
Yeah.
We just want everybody to know we're better. You think you're better than me? That's the attitude we bring. No, I don't know. Let's go, folks. I like it.
That's the new podcast tagline. You think you're better than me?
You think you're better than me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Do you think you're better than me? Let's go, folks. I like it. Let's see what people think. I think it's fun. I mean, I think it makes it, stands out. It like makes it more. I had, because I had a hello, folks, recently, and one was a listener, and it was great, and so we could talk to them. But then sometimes it's a mix of, you're like, what happened this weekend? So where I had a mix up, I had a pretty awesome weekend. Great Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. We went to Tedeschi Trucks concert. And we're friends with Derek and Susan. They're both wonderful, wonderful people. Amazing people to be friends with. They're, her voice is unreal. And then he's a prodigy, like a true child prodigy. He was in the Allman Brothers. His uncle's Butch Allman. And he joined the Allman Brothers at 9 years old. Harper's about to be 9. 9. I asked him, I was like, how crazy is that?
That's pretty crazy. I never thought about it like that.
When you put it, Harper's about to be 9.
Yeah.
And it would be like she's going on tour with the Allman Brothers.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
And when he was 9, he would play, he told me 3 to 4 songs. And then by the time he was 11, he was just full-time in the band and doing their full tour.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
11 years old. And good enough to be on the stage at the Allman Brothers.
That's crazy.
So still pretty good.
Still not bad.
He's still.
I mean, that was definitely the band to allow a kid to do that. No, I don't know anything about bands. Like, people just trash bands. You're like, if any band could have a kid and you would think he's good enough, Allman Brothers are the band for that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
It wasn't Led Zeppelin, where I don't know.
Did y'all talk about Jacksonville Jaguars football?
We did. He's very excited about the Jags. And
Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Tebow.
He's a big Jags fan. And so it was awesome to get to watch him. And then I mean, they're just great people. Anyway, so we got to stand on stage, and there a lot of people came up and said what's up, and people listen to the podcast too. And so I'm standing on stage, and this dude walks up, and he goes, do you always feel like you have to take the obligatory, is that the word, right? Obligatory picture? And I've had so many people come up and say like, hey, big fan, whatever. And I go, no, it's fine, man. And he goes, oh, you don't feel that? And I was like, I go, oh, you mean of just a picture of the band? Like he's like, so he was like straight up, dude. I put my arm on him, like I go, nah, man. And he looked like a Harley guy,
Yeah.
you know, like so it definitely did not. I was super surprised. He didn't fit who I think would be at the show.
Yeah.
And not on my show, not Derek Truck's show, but I was like, nah, man, I touched him. I go, nah, it's fine. He goes, you don't? And I'm like, oh, you mean of them?
Yeah, he's just making conversation, dude.
He's like, yeah, dude, I'm just trying to, you don't want to take a picture of on stage? And I go, I guess. And then, and I was taking some pictures, and that's what he's talking about. And so that's almost what started the Hello Folks into the Let's Go Folks.
Yeah. Speaking of pictures, we had, after we talked about this last week, at my shows in Chattanooga this weekend, I opened for Jeff Allen, and immediately after one of the shows, he sold out every show. Immediately after the show, someone ran up to me and goes, hey, I watched the podcast.
Yeah.
Love it. And then they had Jeff take a picture of me with them.
Yeah.
Right after, this is right after the show.
Yeah.
He thought it was funny.
Jeff's a good sport.
He
thought
thinks it's funny. Yeah. Yeah, if that ever for if you're a fan and you're listening, just respect to the headliner. Just don't make him take the picture. It's always even a weird thing too. You don't always like come up and be, it's like go say something to you.
Yeah.
But then this is all very specific. I know people are going to be like, hey man, I'm just trying to say hello. I don't need to follow your rules.
Yeah.
You don't have to follow the rules.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want to go do. But you tend to, people would always say that. I remember Big J had a great answer to that, because people would always come up and sometimes and say, man, I thought you were funnier than the headliner. That's like a famous thing that people say.
Mm-hmm.
And Jay always had a great thing that he said. He goes, I did 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a big difference. So it's like, if you say that to go like, yeah, if you're the middle act, that's notoriously the best gig in the world.
It's the sweet spot.
It's a sweet spot. Check started out. Host just went up. The audience is excited. They're settled in, and you get to go do 15 minutes and murder.
And your
best 15.
That's right. You can do the best 15 of your life because nobody knows your material.
Yes.
Whereas the headliner is probably working on a new hour or something.
Yes. He's got a new hour. He's got a new, whatever. And so it's like that tends to be, not saying a headliner should be, as you headline, my goal is to I need to make you forget in a good and bad way. But my job is to hopefully you forget who even the opening act was, because I'm trying to do that good. And so that's typically what, that's what I try to do. Make everybody forget you guys. And I mainly go out and tell them. I start rumors up there. Y'all don't ever hear the beginning of my set. And I go, that'd be the last time you guys see those guys. Aaron stole some stuff off the bus. And Bald Eagle over here, I don't even know how he got here. But that's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if people wonder those insights of, if they care. They are just like, I'm just trying to say I'm a big fan.
Yeah, and people be like, hey, you were funnier than the headliner or something. And you're like, yeah, but if I were the headliner, you wouldn't be here at all.
Yeah.
You didn't come to see me.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a big difference between doing 15 minutes and an hour. They don't, too, they don't realize I'd like to watch you for the hour. You're like, you wouldn't have. You think you would have.
Yeah.
About 20 minutes in, you'd be like, where's the next guy?
Yeah. You would say it about the other guy. Yeah, it's interesting when you start headlining and people really come for someone. then it just changes. They don't. I feel like that kind of goes away because they're just excited to see who they want to see, and but then you still want the show to be good. I mean, that's how when I getting you like you guys opening, so I want the show to be great. Like I would not bring you on the road if you bomb. That's how you get off the road. You'd always hear stories about that. Sometimes people will bring bad opening acts, so it makes the headline. So the headliner then looks better. Yeah. But I never understood that. I've always heard people have done that, but I never understood that. I would think because I want the show to be better. I would be furious if I followed and you bombed. I would be so mad. To be like, I got to fix your nonsense. Like I got to go up and now like get this crowd in the mood for a show. Like you should just be. They're teed up.
Yeah.
Just go have a great set, murder, and then get out of there.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Yeah, you have the confidence knowing you're going to do great no matter how good the feature is. You're going to still not have a problem. The comics I know who bring really weak openers are veterans who haven't written a new act in years.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just sailing, and they don't want a strong opener because they have to work.
Because they're doing the same act.
Yeah.
And so when you got to build, I mean, it helps you build a better act when you have to follow good acts. And the crowd, I mean, you're giving them, it's a show. It's a whole show. So you want them to be like, yeah, this whole thing was awesome. The whole experience was great. So, but overall, yeah, we went, so I went to, we got to go to the Tedeschi trucks, and then we got to go to NASCAR. NASCAR was in Nashville. Yeah. And first time it's been there, I think it's 37 years or something like that.
Wow.
And it was awesome.
How many people were there? I mean, it looked like
it was
hundreds
packed,
of thousands.
Yeah, of people. I don't know what the attendance is, but I mean, it had to be, it was sold out.
Was it the track out in like Gladeville?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It was awesome. I mean, it was it was cool to see, and cool to see everybody out there. The race was great. I had so our neighbors all went with and everybody brought all the daughters came, and so I had them like betting. I'm getting these kids gambling,
start them early.
Yeah. But they loved it. Like my daughter and all the other kids, they loved it because I said, all right, y'all get to pick 2 people that you think is going to win, and whoever wins, I'll give each of you $20. And they win in teams. So then they win pick. And it's funny because they don't know, some of them had my daughter, her team, her and Carter, their little friend, they first pick, they go, all right, I want to pick number 70 something, 78 or something, which I'm not trashing 78, but he was in the back. And so I was like, all right, well I was like, pick from, you see the way they were lined up. I was like, I'd probably pick some cars up to the top. And Harper, at one girl picked, she goes, I'll take 48. Harper goes, I'll take 47. And you're like, well, there's numbers on the cars.
It's Price is Right.
Yeah. It's like, there's not, I go, let's pick a number that you see out there, Yeah. But I mean, they were picking some cars. You're like, all right, let's not go to, I did it with Kentucky Derby with them too one time. I go, y'all can pick a horse, and whoever wins, I'll give you. If your horse wins, I'll give you $20. And they, and I mean, they just start picking the name they like and all this stuff. And it's a guy that's like 100 to 1. You're like, all right, well, I want y'all to have fun, and your horse might get shot before the race starts. Yeah. So let's maybe go up a little bit and pick a different. Kyle Larson won the race. He's number 5. He was, I mean, no, I'm not talking about NASCAR, but I've never seen someone more dominant.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like he shouldn't have no one else should have been out there. It looked like a joke. They'd restart it, and he'd be 6 cars back, and then he just drives by everybody. Like you're going, is his car just allowed to be faster than everybody? Yeah. I mean, just was gone, dude. It was pretty funny.
So in racing, if someone starts in the back, it's almost impossible for them to catch up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just their car is not good enough, and so if your car is not, I mean, if you drive your car versus you're next to, if you're in your Honda Accord and you're racing a Ferrari, it's going to be different, and I think that's just what it is.
I would like to see that though.
Yeah, I mean, it would be
Brian racing in his Honda Accord.
Yeah, just because his right before the race starts, his blinkers on, and then just. You boys ready? And there's just a girl out there with two. What's the
the flags?
the flags about to go start. Sir, your hazard's on real fast. And he goes, "Oh, sorry." And that's how before the race starts. He get his belongings, seatbelt on, checks everything.
10 and 2.
10 and 2.
Mirror.
Mirror's on. Well, you're just going forward. No one's going to be coming behind you. You don't go worry about your mirror. Still like it where it should be.
Had a little squirrel issue, so this car may not go as I'd like.
Yeah. The squirrel runs out and watches the race and then goes back in.
I pull into the pits and a squirrel jumps out.
That's your pits are just them hitting a broom on the top of the hood, just trying to get the squirrels out of. Get on here, get on here. That's all you hear in Brian's pits. Did he need gas? No, he's got a ton of gas. He's not going fast enough to burn it. But we have a squirrel issue. So we thought they all got out. Get on out here. Just your pit has just got wasp spray. There's everybody. You know how they always have that big gas tank. The guy walks out and it's wasp spray. It's just spraying, trying to get the wasp nest out. And then, is that the pace car? No, that gets Brian Bates. He's the pace car passes him.
Yeah. It's got mothballs.
Yeah.
No sponsors on his car.
No sponsors. Comments. Blag Daniels. Given the commitment you guys have to staying on topic, I feel like this could have still been called the Georgia episode and no one would have noticed.
Yeah. We were about an hour in, and I was like, I guess we're not touching Georgia.
I guess we're not doing. Yeah. I did not expect that to go the way it went, to be honest. I really thought we'd talk about Georgia. Jack from your house. I make jokes in online games for videos, and I've been struggling with where the line is as a Christian. It's good to hear you guys talk this out. This is by far one of the most serious episodes to date, but it's still so lighthearted, funny, and encouraging. I make jokes in online games for videos. That's a job?
I don't know.
I've been struggling where the line is as a Christian. Like, is your job real?
That's the line.
That's the line that he's like, yeah, the jokes are very good and easy. Is what I'm doing legal? That's the question. You know?
Uh-huh.
Man, there's jobs that are coming.
But that's a big thing on TikTok. You'll see is people are playing video games and they're all talking to each other and they're just like telling jokes, and then they'll make compilations of those jokes. And
yeah, and so that's like
I don't know if this is
might
his
not be a
full-time job, but
gig.
but it's like a fun thing that he does, a hobby, I'm sure.
Yeah,
maybe he does really well.
You know, it's like, yeah, you can make fun of stuff, man. You can do whatever you want. It's like, just be, just don't be hateful.
Right.
And that's where the online thing is. Which I'm sure, hopefully, he's not. Christina Marshall. Honestly, I was nervous about this one, but it was so good. Butterscotch buying tickets to Nate's show is just the best illustration of their friendship dynamic. Best part of my Wednesday every week. Pretty good.
I actually went ahead and bought tickets to your show at the Opry House.
Yeah.
Even though I know I'm on it, because I know there's going to be somebody in my life last minute going to say, can we get tickets?
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and grabbed a couple.
Who's going with your mom to the Ryman show?
Probably my wife.
Okay.
Yep.
My old roommate texted me, "How do I get in on this drawing to get who's to take Brian's mom to the show?"
You could have a folk take your mom. Can you imagine your mom having to go out and go? She's like, "Who am I going with?" Well, it's someone we don't really know. But they listen to the podcast. I bet they're going to be great people.
Yeah.
I would think I would put everybody. Yeah.
God, Blag Daniels.
Yeah.
Get him in
Blag
there.
Daniels. You want a piece of this? Jack from your house. We have to end up with online jokes. We're like, all right, Jack. Like, I thought you can't turn it off. Opry. Yes. The Grand Ole Opry. Opry House. Almost sold out. So make sure you get
awesome,
it's pretty crazy. Yeah. Same back to back. I was wondering who, back to back nights. Ryman, Opry, knocking them. Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Michael Hayes, 36 minutes in, and I've heard Nate say down to the nit and gritty and kick it to the curve. The confidence with which Nate butchers cliches actually makes them fresh again. Cliches, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Down to the nit and gritty. What's that one?
Nitty gritty.
Nitty gritty.
Yeah.
And what's kick it to the curve? Curb?
The curb.
Oh.
You may have said curb. It just sounded like curve.
I probably said curve. Yeah. But I'm at the curve.
Yeah.
Kick it to the curve, which is going to go over a curb.
The curve of the curb.
The curve of the curb.
Yeah, that's what.
That's a good point.
Kicking it to the same place.
You live in a cul-de-sac. There's a curve.
There's
around,
a curve. I
kick
kicked it to the curve.
Right.
Yeah. And down the nit and gritty. I bet a lot of people say that.
Knit and gritty.
What is it?
Nitty gritty.
Nitty gritty. I've never even heard that.
Really?
Knit and gritty.
I'd never heard knit and gritty.
What is nitty gritty?
I don't know.
The fine points. Get down to the brass tacks.
That's the actual words for nitty? That's what nitty is?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
So it's a made up word.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is if I say knit and gritty, then we're all agreeing that we're all just making up words.
Yeah, sure.
But for some reason, my made up word is not good enough for everybody goes, no, we agreed on this made up word. And you're making up your other word.
All words are made up.
That's true. What's a word?
Yeah. All words matter.
All words matter.
Oh, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. You heard of them?
A couple times. One of my favorite bands. I've only heard of them a couple times.
Fishing in the Dark. I know that song.
Oh, that's them? Yeah.
Fishing in the Dark. You know them.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
You go sing it and not sing the main lyrics. It's like went to the
In the
store,
dark. That one.
fishing. You know what's the song? You were fishing and it was dark out. And you're like, if it doesn't ring a bell, then you don't know it. You know when you tell someone to ask something,
Yeah.
and they're like, I don't have I do it with Nick. No, Vicky, him being a little person. Have you met Nick? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, you would know. And if you don't know, then that's just
Not sure. Okay, I'll
Have
take that
I?
as a no.
yeah, you have it. Rocky Duncan. Can't wait to see Bogo on his Is This Seat Taken tour. I hear tickets will be cheap. Excuse me, is this seat taken?
Your Opry show's almost sold out, right?
Yeah.
It'll just get down to
Well, there's still some tickets left, but it's close.
yeah. When it gets down to individual seats, technically that's when they can start calling a sellout. But that's when I could start my tour.
That's when you tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like Aaron Land, but you do a show during a show. And your tickets are the individual seats that no one else wants to go to.
That's right. Once you
Yeah.
get done with your part, I'll take
Yeah.
over. That's when mine goes
the biggest single ticket seller of all time.
Oh,
That could be your thing.
Only single
tickets. One, please.
Even if it's a BOGO.
Even if it's a BOGO. Well, they're buy one, get one free. Yeah, you don't have to point that out to me. I know that. Like the people that get upset about it. I'll take two then. It's but I feel like it's people that appreciate the extra seat next to them. That's
Mm-hmm.
they like it.
Yeah.
That's where they put their water and their small popcorn. They can set it in the. Can anything sit in that extra buy one get one free suite? Yeah, whatever you want. Okay, thank you.
The extra cup holder.
Extra cup holder, just the extra everything, and then it goes. That's his fans are just, which would be me. I would enjoy,
Yeah.
just
Little
go
room.
alone, little room, step out and look around. Show's great. Got to go to the bathroom? No, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Never feel ashamed asking, do you mind if I course?
Yeah.
The Ryman,
course.
especially because it's
Brian agrees to wait till you get back. That's part of the show. Is Brian's on stage and he goes, yeah, no, absolutely. He'll go. Hey, Brian, do you mind if a few of us got to go to the bathroom? And he goes, yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you, I do too. So let's all just take five. Yeah. And the doctor watches to see how many times they go to the bathroom to go. Oh, and then he hands out cards at the back. I noticed a lot of y'all went to the bathroom quite a bit. And this show's at 4:30 in the afternoon, so it seems crazy.
he's a urologist.
Yeah.
There's something wrong.
Try to get in bed. Yeah. Because everybody's all right. What were you gonna say?
The Ryman especially would be good because it's just church pews. It's not individual
Yeah.
seats. You
Yeah.
buy 2 tickets.
Yeah.
You can just sit in the middle of those
Yeah.
2 seats and have plenty of elbow.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to a concert with 3 tickets and one person didn't show up, and it was the best concert I've ever been to in
Yeah.
my life. It was actually Chesky Trucks.
Oh, really?
Or I had a third person didn't show up, so 2 people could spread out.
At
And
the
I was
Ryman?
like, oh, at the Ryman. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, this is
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
how
that
it's
that
meant
was-
to be seen.
That was
Yeah.
crazy that it was them.
Mm-hmm. I've seen them a few times, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know you were a big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Could have brought you out there. Glad we did it. Trevor Victor Heidi. The fish and pole analogy was perfect, Aaron.
Thank you,
Well, that's
Trevor.
ridiculous.
You said fish and hole, but fish and pole sounds good too.
Yeah. Eric W. This was gold. Love you guys. And John fits in great. Have him back or Trey Kennedy, whoever is easier to get.
John is such a good sport. He's one of the best about ribbing him and
Yeah.
About making he laughs at himself.
yeah.
Amy Sorsby. I love John Chris. I've been watching him for years. I was so excited when I saw the title of this episode. Nate mentions Brisket's dry bar stand up, so I actually searched and watched it, and it was surprisingly very funny. I think it's the first time I'm reading it. I think even funnier now that I feel like I've gotten to know him first. The podcast dynamic makes it relatable, like having breakfast as an actual friend, which you can do. Also, I followed Aaron Land, which is very funny. I just love how you guys always come in clutch with all things funny, wholesome laughter every time. Bates is breakfast is the one. If you want to be friends,
Yeah. Who is that? Was that Amy?
Amy Sorsby.
Amy, I'd love to be your friend.
Very accessible.
Yeah.
It's funny that she looked up your special thinking it was not going to be that good.
Apparently.
Yeah.
And was blown away that it was very funny.
Surprise, she said. Surprisingly
Very funny. Yeah. I think fair enough. Mandy Van Dalsum. Neighbor gets and John Chris together is literally better than Christmas morning, and I'm so glad you brought up the topic of let's go. When I heard Nate's rant on it, I immediately thought of John and wanted them to hash it out together. Did not disappoint. I love, let's go, folks.
Let's go, folks.
I hope everybody likes it because I'm kind of really down.
Mm-hmm.
You like it?
Yeah, I can get on board with it.
How many O's and go?
I don't know. Whatever makes fun of these people more.
Okay. I think at least 3.
Let's go, folks. Is so specific.
Yeah. Originally, hello, folks. You said that's what I came out, and I go, hello, folks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, but yeah, we can switch to.
You don't want to do it because it's your thing. So
No.
folks, is your thing.
No,
You don't think better for the show. You only think better for you.
He just ordered some merch.
Yeah.
Just waiting for
Did
it.
you order a Hello Folks?
I just
merch?
ordered 1,000 Hello Folks shirts. So I
Let's
really
go,
like
folks.
that better.
Is I think it helps us say it to each other,
Mhm.
and we know out the gate.
Right.
And the pastor that said hello, folks, at a
Mhm.
sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he has to say "Let's go, folks," that's harder. That's what makes it funnier, and
Yeah.
that's more specific.
Yeah.
Right.
That pastor could say hello, folks. Like you would be like, okay, like I don't think I would even. I always feel like I can't tell, and I don't want to just assume that they're saying it. That's pretty arrogant to be like fan of the podcast. They're like, I don't know the most famous phrase of Earth.
Yeah. The president says it all the
Everybody
time.
says hello, folks.
Yeah.
Let's go, folks. Stands out.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the pastor says it, it's probably a little bit tough for him
Then
to say.
we'll know.
Well, it's tough for him, or it's tougher for him to say, "Let's go, folks." Like that's a weird way to start a sermon.
Yeah.
And that's very specific.
Yeah.
And then the audience really gets it.
Mm-hmm.
We're on to something. Might change my mind next week. Matt Oregon. I think John Chris almost has to laugh at his own jokes just to give his audience permission to laugh. Being a minister myself, I know how uptight his target audience can be. That's very true.
Mm.
I could see that, But I've done a show in a church and just make the jokes really funny. So
It's another option.
I don't know. We all, do different things. Tyler Gannon. Aaron just thinks not being on money is a big deal because of the American perspective. Also, list people known internationally.
I don't understand that.
Okay.
I think he's just saying that you're only now listing people only known in America. List people that are known internationally.
Yeah. Well, that's like,
Shaq.
talking about the most famous. Was the soccer?
Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Did you see he moved Coca-Cola from his press? He does a press thing. They have 2 bottles of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
He grabs it and shakes his head no, and then grabs a bottle of water and goes agua. He's like, because he like, and I read a thing about him where like he doesn't want his kids will want to drink Coke, and he's always like, it's really bad for you. Like he doesn't like I think he still lets them do it, but he lets them know he doesn't approve it.
Mm-hmm.
And Coke supposedly lost $4 billion because he did that.
$4 billion?
That's what someone said. Like in stocks, like their stock price went down because of that. Whatever stocks are made up. I think it's got to be probably a pretty big scam going. But in that world, I don't understand stocks. Is why.
$4 billion in market value after Ronaldo shuns Coke.
So most famous ever, we could change maybe because that's pretty powerful.
That is powerful.
That's bananas, dude. He just moved it out of the way and grabbed a water bottle, and people, that's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
That's like,
I don't think if the Queen got rid of a Coke, no one would care.
No,
that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh.
I think he just hit 300 million Instagram followers. I saw too.
It's most Instagram's the only thing above him, and I feel like they probably make you follow him.
Yeah.
They're gonna always probably just be like, no, you got to be above that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about it. It's probably him. Justin Galindo, old tour manager, did. He said Obama too. Could be.
Yeah,
and I guess I said Trump last week. If famous is well liked, then maybe Ronaldo. If it's just well known, I still argue Trump.
I well known might be him. I'm actually kind of flipping that. You don't do something like that. That's crazy. That's unbelievable. He just moved the bottles, and the stock went down. That's insane.
Yeah, your Shaq and Yao Ming, they're identifiable, but if you wrote their name down, just read their names, I don't think a lot of people are going to know who.
Shaquille O'Neal. They're very recognizable.
I think people know who they are.
I think they know who they are, but I mean, I think soccer's the biggest sport in the world.
Yeah,
I would think him and Messi.
He's up there.
Yeah, and it's probably him.
Mm-hmm.
Mariah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Elder. I usually watch this podcast in bed, so I keep the volume low and turn on the closed captioning. But this episode said that closed captioning wasn't available. My guess is that YouTube threw in the towel after Nate's cut Larry struggle. That is, I mean, I feel bad for if
You feel bad for the software that has to close caption.
I like to picture it's a guy. It's always funner to picture closed caption is just some
guy sitting there.
Some guy sits with his headphones on and he goes, "Let's do this thing." Oh god,
that's who you feel bad for.
Sweat. Yeah, like he's just sitting there, like, oh god, what was that? I don't even know how to type that. That's what I like to picture closed captioning is.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of men and women all over the world.
Stenographers.
There
you go.
Yeah. Hello. Sorry. Hello, folks. We have been using HelloFresh for maybe. We have actually used HelloFresh for 5 years now. My wife makes it all the time. It helps us cut out stressful meal planning and grocery store trips, so we can enjoy cooking and get dinner on the table in just about 30 minutes or less. It's a great amount of food. We have a family of 3. We make the meal work for 2. We make the meal for 2 work very easily. We eat HelloFresh. I mean, we really do eat it. 3, yeah. Laura usually cooks 2-3 times a week, and so it's very easy. I mean, I haven't attempted it yet, but it seems like it would be easy. Yeah. It seems very easy. I mean, they have the card that is the list.
Step-by-step
instructions. The food's awesome too, man. Yeah. It's really good food. Try the HelloFresh quick and easy meals, 15 to 20 minute dinners. They have breakfast on the go and more easy options. HelloFresh offers 50 menu and grocery items each week, including ready-to-eat salads, sandwiches, and soups. So you can do lunch, dinner, whatever. They just shows up to your doorsteps. It's super easy. The app is great, very easy to use. You can edit your meals selections, change delivery plan size, and easily skip a week if you are out of town. I don't like a lot of things, but sometimes I mean, I've liked all of the HelloFresh meals. It saves me from eating spaghetti 2 or 3 nights a week because that's all I could cook. I don't think I could do that, but you just pour it in the thing. Isn't that spaghetti? Just noodles in the thing. And you
Just make
pour
pasta. Yeah.
the meat on that
Yeah.
jar on it.
Ragu,
I can
whatever.
figure spaghetti out. But HelloFresh is that easy to do. Go to HelloFresh.com/14Nate and use code 14Nate for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/14Nate and use code 14Nate for up to 14 free meals plus shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Also, the Summer Bespoke Post is here to take your adventure to the next level with a new lineup of must-have Box of Awesome collections. Bespoke Post works with small businesses and new brands to bring you the most unique goods every month. We selected the coffee-themed Box of Awesome, so it'll be great to try different coffees. I like iced coffee, as you know. And so they just send you a box, and it's like you don't know what's going to be in it. The Weekender bag would be great for traveling this summer. Maybe you have a road trip planned. No matter what you're into, Box of Awesome has you covered. From travel and outdoor gear to breezy summer styles and grooming goods, Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. The outdoor and travel boxes look so cool to me. If you want to get started, you go to take the quiz of boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. You really should go check out the boxofawesome.com because this is like one of those things that you're kind of like, what is it? I don't really know what it is. It's like, go to their website and look at it. It's a pretty cool thing. They release new boxes every month across a bunch of different categories. It is free to sign up and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Each box costs only $45, but has over $70 worth of gear inside. It's a great gift for someone too. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code NATE at checkout. That's boxofawesome.com, code NATE for 20% off your first box. Also, we have the Nateland Live podcast. July 5th coming up very soon. First show's doing good, I think. Probably close to sold out. Second show. And you can come to both shows if you want. They will be different. We might have the same topic like we did last time. We did Tennessee. We did Tennessee on both shows, and then but each show was different.
Yeah.
But they'd have to buy a ticket for each show.
Yeah, they have to buy a ticket each. You know.
I just wanted to clarify because last week we said stick around if you want for the second show. I didn't want people to think they could just stay in their seats.
Right.
Yeah. Make sure that they, rules. We got rules. Your audience would follow the rules, though.
Yeah.
I think your audience they would know it. They show up in a clear bag.
Yeah.
They already, metal detectors. Like they don't have to plug it in when people come in through your audience.
Yeah.
They have their own yonder bags that they bring.
Yeah.
Nope, did it at home.
They go, yeah. Are the metal detectors just going off like crazy? It's like everybody,
There's a hip.
right before everybody comes in, they goes, you hip too? Raise your hand. Who has a hip? New hip. Everybody. Okay. Who? All right. This line is for people with all their bones in their body. Your bones that you started with, the bones God gave you. Do you have just those bones? And then like one guy goes, I have all my original bones. He gets to come through that line. And then the other one, they just look and they go, you know what? Everybody just go on through. I trust. It feels trusting.
I think the people who come to my show also don't buy tickets online because they don't know how.
Oh, yeah.
Or they don't want to pay the $2 service fee or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'll buy at the door.
Yeah. Buy at the door. Right before we get started with this, I am trying to start my something again. My intermittent fasting I want to lose weight for this tour. I think I'm starting with 16 to 8. 16 hours fasting, 8 hours feeding window, which is a lot. But if I can consistently stay to that, like basically I would eat after this podcast and then
and that would be your first eating of the day?
Yeah. And then
then you're golden.
And then I eat till like at my last.
You got till 9 o'clock after that. Yeah.
9 o'clock, which I don't go to bed till 1, 2 in the morning anyway. So that's about but I want to almost time it out to be kind of like that, that's a pretty big window actually. So I want to see how that goes and then I'll adjust. You were 24.
Yeah.
4 hour feeding.
4 hours.
Are you still doing that?
Looser and looser,
Yeah.
but basically, I'm basically just eating one meal a day, and then just kind of snacking
Yeah.
after that.
Was your energy good? Like you felt
It
like
changed pretty quickly.
you have better energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. My knees don't hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not falling asleep. I mean, yeah. I feel
Pretty
way
wild.
better.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't say the intermittent fasting. I mean, look, we're all trying. If you're like us, an average American, we're just trying to get through. We try a bunch of different stuff, and but I always thought intermittent fasting. It's at least for me. It's I need some kind of schedule. It's at least got to be like my schedule's just too sporadic, and it's like days where I have a bunch of stuff where we have this podcast, or I have other stuff. And then days I'm on the road and you're doing 2 shows. I'm not done till midnight.
Yeah.
And so it's just too wild of a time. So it's like the only thing I can control is my feeding window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you just tell yourself like you can't, like I'm just then you don't.
Have a diet cherry Coke.
Yeah. Well, you can have those as much as you want. You can have diet drinks.
I know. We're the opposite of Ronaldo. We get rid of the water and put in diet cherry Coke. That goes.
They still lose $4 billion in value.
Yeah, they lose more. They go, oh, God, so they're into it. That would have been very funny for you. Just go, Ronaldo. He does that, and you sit next to him, and you. Well, do you mind if I have those Cokes? And then you sit there and drink one right in front of me. Like, go ahead. No, I'm sure they want to hear from you. So we have some people that I know when we asked how people are doing with the checking in. Heather Esposito, Sriracha veggie straws. So you're trying to get rid of those?
Some of these, and we read a few of these last time.
Yeah.
Who have we read?
I think we read her, and I think we read the guy who said
Through Derek.
Yep, Derek Visser.
Oh,
yeah.
Saying I don't want to go to work. Laura Tokozoglu.
Definitely did not read hers.
Tak Gazagulu.
She turned around.
Yeah, she turned around.
That's pretty good.
Did he say Laura? That's right.
Yeah.
Laura Tak Gazoglu. Meat. She's getting a Matt Crone dipping. Connor Rahilian, alcohol. You get rid of that. Someone asked me about not drinking alcohol. And because I haven't drank in a couple years, 3 years. And so if someone asks, because a guy messaged me and talked, like, I know that's always a tough thing. I know a lot of people want to quit drinking. If you, there's a lot of great stuff to read about. I know a lot of comics went to AA and stuff like that. And that works for a lot of people too. There's also some great books. There's an Alan Carr, this guy, he talked about quitting drinking, smoking, all this kind of stuff. Just like kind of breaks it down. And there's another book too. I can't remember the other one I read, but it's essentially that exact thing. The same thing like Alan Carr, not drinking. And it's, what he did was, he just breaks down alcohol too. Alcohol is basically poison. It's straight up poison. It's kind of crazy. And, you're just trained to alcohol's around, like, every commercial's like, every TV show, I go to a bar, I go 2 beers, like that's since you're a child, it's ingrained in you to just be like, yeah, that's what you do. That's how you have fun. Right. And the idea that the guy has is he would say, like, go watch kids, go to a 5-year-old birthday party or an 8-year-old birthday party, and they're dancing. They don't need alcohol to dance. They just dance and have fun. It's the idea of that, to be like, you think you need these stuff to be looser, but your own body will have this stuff. Now, I'm not saying if someone likes drinking, I get that too. I get the escape of it, and like, it's nice it relaxes you, but there's an argument to that it doesn't even relax you. It makes it worse. Like if you have anxiety, if you have all these kind of things, it heightens all that stuff. So, but the guy, I'm just telling you that because that guy mentioned something about not drinking, and he said something about me talking about it. If people haven't, I just stopped. I knew it was wasting my time. I knew it was, that's why if you don't want to drink, it's, if you can just feel that it's just if you're someone that drinks a lot, and and I'm in a business where alcohol is everywhere, and alcohol's all it is around us. And so if you're drinking a lot, then that's when you can tell. Like, a lot of people don't think they're drinking a lot, but if you realize that you're like, oh man, I'm having it every day, and I feel like I need this every day. I need my glass of wine every night, or I need my whatever it is that you need. But if you can drink and not drink, then do whatever you want. It's a mix of both of those. But if you quietly feel like, let me tell you, I promise you, the most amazing feeling you will have if you drink is when you don't drink the next day and you don't feel it. It's that feeling does not go away, and that's the most exciting feeling. It's exciting. You wake up and you're like, I can't believe I feel like this, and you're like, this is unbelievable. And then worst case scenario, you're going to be tired.
Yeah.
And then but it's when you can attack your day and you don't feel like you're just kind of bogged down at all from alcohol, nothing better than that. And so if you're drinking and you need to stop, read those books. You're not alone. All right. This week we are one's Chris Anderson, 12 pounds by the time he attends Zany's live podcast.
That was the first Zany's live, but you can still do it.
Well, maybe now, Chris, we'd like you to get it back before the next one.
And then take it off again.
And take it off again. Yeah. But I just asked Laura, it's hot in here, turn the air conditioning down. We say cut as the South, but you say you just cut it down or cut it up? Or do you turn it down or turn it up?
Up.
Up.
For
you
me.
said, can you turn the air conditioner up?
Yeah.
To make it colder?
Yeah.
And I'd say turn it down.
Yeah.
Why do you say up?
Because you're increasing the strength
of
the air conditioner. You're turning the power up.
You're actually saying turn the air conditioner up.
Yeah.
And I'm saying temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I say turn the air conditioner down. What do you say?
I say up, but I've heard both.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would know either way what they meant based on how it feels in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you're going off of. Yeah. Huh. A lot of people.
You say cut.
I did a poll. I say cut. I did a poll and they said you're stupid. God, is that the whole? It's the whole thing. Can you believe that? 100%.
Quick poll.
They asked one person. It was me, and I filled it out right now. It's 100%. You're stupid. I say cut. You don't say cut?
I
cut it off?
I think I will sometimes.
Cut it down?
Yeah. We didn't in my house growing up. That's something I picked up from other people.
Yeah, well, y'all used a lot bigger words than that. Did you pick it up from like your garbage man and stuff like that? When you heard him come up and y'all would go and your parents would make y'all go out and talk to a regular person? Was that when you would hear the... And then
go fraternize with the peasants.
When they come out and you go, hey kids, the mailman's outside. Let's go outside. And I want you to introduce yourself to him, offer him food. He probably doesn't know how to get food. And use his words. Yeah. And y'all walk out, hey, how you doing? You gonna cut off your motor there? And you're like, I don't know, whatever this guy talks about.
A Jermaine slipped out.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
So this week
we're going to look at some decades.
Yeah.
And we're going to start with the 1970s.
This decade that you both are from.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He started it, I ended it. And closed it out. And he 1970s. Yeah, we might do a few of these. I feel like these are kind of fun.
This one might be if we go up, this might be the toughest one because when we get in the 80s and 90s, we're going to all have memories of stuff that we can reflect on. I'm probably the only one here who has some memories of the 70s.
Yeah, why would it be tough?
Why would this one be tough?
No, the other ones. We have memories of it.
Oh, well, then I misspoke. I meant this one will be tough. They'll be easier because we'll all have memories to.
Yeah. Well, we did a pretty good job making fun of Andrew Jackson, and I didn't meet him. So I'd imagine we'd be all right.
Yeah.
If this one's just awful, and it's like, well, I just don't remember any of this. So, I mean, we talked about calendars. I don't know if there's nothing we've talked about that I'm like, oh yeah, I have memory of.
Never been to Rhode Island.
Never been to Rhode Island. We did quite a bit on that.
Well, can I ask maybe a larger question before we dive in?
Yeah.
So when we think about the 70s and the 80s and the 90s now, these are decades that have they have personalities to them. Like we have in our mind, we can visualize what they look like.
Yeah.
Are you aware of those things in the moment? Like when you're in the 90s, are you like, oh, is this the distinct?
He was black
Time
and white.
period.
His family was black and white. And so when they would go eat dinner, him and his family, they would all be in black and white. And he remembers, obviously, you're going to remember when you see your mom in color for the first time.
Yeah.
That's a pretty powerful thing. Everybody remembers where they were that day.
When was that? The 70s? Mid-70s?
Mid-70s.
First time you saw him in color?
Yeah.
I mean, I said on this podcast, my first memory that I can put a date on is going with my mom when she voted in the 1976 election.
Yeah.
And there's 3 memories I could actually remember. So I was born November 71, so I would have been 8 when the 70s were ending. So I remember that. I vaguely remember when Elvis died. Just vague.
Mhm.
When did
memories.
he die?
Like 78, I think.
Oh, I thought he didn't die till like the 80s.
No, 77,
I
78.
thought I remember when he died.
77.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
I have vague memory of that. I have vague memories of the Iran hostage situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
These
yeah,
are
yeah,
traumatizing memories
I
as a
not,
kid.
dude. You know,
Well, that's what you remember.
First thing I remember, Iran hostage.
your mom wake you up. Your mom and dad come in. Iran, there's a hostage situation in Iran. And you go, I know. You've already listened to it on the radio. You're preparing for your news career.
What do you think of? Well, to answer your question, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever seen? There's someone posted some videos of I saw of like 1930s in color,
Mhm.
and it was on I don't know, Instagram or YouTube or something. I forget where I looked at it, but it was pretty crazy. And you're like seeing it where you're like, oh, they just when you really think about it, because it is hard. Like you see 1930s and you're like, I mean, what was it like then? But when you see these pictures in colors, and it's just like home videos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's very like, personal, and it's not like an actual video of something crazy. It's just like them at the beach,
Mhm.
and you see them in color. It's like, yeah, the girls are in a bathing suit
Mhm.
at the beach, the same way we go to the bathing suit at the beach.
Yeah.
And like, it's just the way we see it. Like it's pretty interesting to see that video to go like, yeah, dude, it was just different, and they dressed
Right.
It
different.
makes you realize
Right.
we're all the
Yeah.
same.
The world was a little
Yeah.
grainier, but other than
Yeah.
that.
It does humanize them in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, like it just you're all just like, oh, it's all just
Hmm.
they just went to the beach like we did, and
Yeah.
they just used what they had,
Yeah.
and
Someone just recently, I think it was a documentary, colorized all the footage from World War One, and it showed
It was
like,
Peter Jackson did that.
Okay.
Yeah, that movie that came out. I think it was in theaters.
and it did. Just to your point, it just makes you realize these are just young guys like us at one time, in their life, not that different than now.
Uh-huh.
It does make it seem more relevant.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
When I think of the 70s, I think of, not that I remember it, but Watergate. That's just something you hear about 70s.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't?
yeah, sure. I mean, I think like hippie,
Lava lamps.
yeah, like that's I think
Bell
of that's
bottoms.
a Woodstock. Like to me, that thinks
Well, that's the 60s.
yours is. Oh, I don't know. I mean, it all blends together. Yours is the Iran hostage situation and Watergate.
I ran hostage because I vaguely remember, and Watergate just because I hear people talk about.
Yeah.
5 minutes into the first decades episode, we were like, that all blends together, dude.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have a pretty hard time with this topic.
Well, the Vietnam War ended in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just good night,
Well, I don't know what else
huh?
just fun stuff.
I don't know. You maybe open up with some lighthearted.
It was a
like-
tough decade, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
I mean, no, don't. You already started now. Just
right.
go. You already pulled the Band-Aid off of just.
Well, I was just kind of this is how the 70s started.
Did you think the war should have been happening?
the Vietnam?
Do you remember did you protest the Vietnam War? Were you afraid of being drafted?
I try to get out of the way the stuff I remember from the 70s right out of the gate
right.
to
yeah.
nix some of this, but it's
Okay.
still going to happen.
No, yeah.
Well, have have you guys heard about the Kent State
Good night.
massacre?
I mean, yeah, you whispered massacre. Everybody can hear that. You're just hoping that not everybody hears it. Massacre. Like that.
Into the microphone.
Yeah, like everybody. You're hoping that some people that are listening at home don't. They go, no. They who needed to hear it needed to hear it. I mean, that's if we don't think this audience is all just us together. It's that moment of just whispering to everybody. Right? Everybody remembers the massacre. Right? Is him? I don't. What if someone's watching this with no headphones on the subway right now?
The closed captioning wouldn't get that. That person listening with the closed captioning. So that's man. What happened with Kent State? Was it a Vietnam protest?
The Vietnam protests, students at Kent State University were protesting the war, and things got out of hand, and the National Guard shot and killed 4 students.
Okay, and this is the beginning of the 70s.
This is in 1970.
Out of the gates.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
going to be a
that's
tough decade.
Just setting the tone for what the 70s started like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were upset about the war, students getting killed,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then the 1972 Olympics in Munich.
Fun one.
What happened there?
I mean, basically everything's got a movie made about it.
Yeah.
Everything that you're like is everything's won an Oscar
Yeah.
that we're about. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, there was a movie about Munich. That's when the Israeli Olympic athletes got killed.
Oh, I've never heard of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Palestinians kidnapped them, and like 9.
Yeah. They didn't enjoy it, but the movie's great.
Yeah.
Your family will enjoy going out to the movie and watching about this family that gets torn apart.
Tough one for them to relive.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was crazy. They delayed the Olympics by 24 hours before they resumed. Doesn't that seem kind of quick?
Yeah.
9 people kidnapped and murdered.
They just took a day off and then they're
Yeah.
like back at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
They just, the steeplechase, they just didn't do that year. The summer trials are going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're watching. It's crazy. Like Usain Bolt's not in it, and there's no one like him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was so fast, and it's weird to see them all kind of be together now. And there's no one like he's just so.
Are
much,
they even touching his times?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm sure someone's going to come along, obviously, because they, people always do. It's always funny. They always have you watch. I watched sprinting last night. Just we got the one white guy.
Did you finish last?
I mean, the only reason he didn't is because someone pulled up with a hammy, and that guy still almost beat him. But that's the only reason he wasn't last. He did better than he was. It looked respectable.
Yeah.
He was
He
last.
held his own.
He was last,
Okay.
but it was respectable. He was.
Right.
What country was he from? Oh, this is all the U.S. trials.
Yeah, U.S.
Okay.
trials.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just you see him and you're like, this guy doesn't even have a chance.
It's
And-
weird to me that in basketball, no matter what level you're on, there will be white guys on the team, but they're going to usually be on the bench. I get it in high school. Sometimes you may not have enough players. You got to.
Yeah.
But if you're good enough to get a college scholarship, it's weird to me that they're good enough to make the team, but be on the bench. And then if they make it the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
I know there are exceptions, but usually it's mostly white guys on the bench. It's just odd to me they can keep getting to that next level, but they just can't quite get over the threshold.
Mm.
Well, some do.
Some do, yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed it's a disproportionate amount.
Herder. Some had like great grain my sight for the Hawks.
What'd you say?
It's Herder or something like that, whatever his name is.
Mhm.
I don't know. He's a redhead for the Atlanta Hawks, and he looks
Yeah.
like he's about 18 years old.
Yeah.
And he had an unbelievable game.
It's funny. I always I would want to be on the team just to be one of those guys with the warm up jacket on that just reacts to stuff on the bench. That's every March Madness I
Mhm.
watch. There's just guys. You're like, that guy's never played. All he does is
They hold their teammates back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
That
guy.
holds it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying, but
You're dressed like one right now. I mean, that's essentially exactly what they would wear. You'd have you're the guy with the hat on. They go, well, he's definitely not getting in.
Right.
You've already been
Right.
told you're there, and they already said, they're like, you don't even have to suit up. We don't have a spot for you.
Mhm.
Like sometimes you do get a spot, but then today he's like, no, you don't got a spot.
There were
You got
7.
your wedding ring on.
Yeah, I found it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I left it at like 3 different places.
Oh, wow.
And found it. But that reminded me of 7th grade baseball. I played for the JV team, so they were like 8th and 9th graders. So I
Mhm.
just never I would never see the field.
Yeah.
And the coach was yelling at the starters at one point. He goes, "Do you guys want to play baseball? Or you want to go sit? You want to go eat sunflower seeds with Weber?"
You were the example.
Example of like, do you want to be that or that?
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, I've forgotten about that.
Yeah.
So do you
Did
guys
you play football?
Football, baseball, basketball.
Did you start in football?
Football? I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end,
Yeah.
like junior and senior year, or senior year.
Yeah.
what position?
Center,
I think we know.
cornerback.
Somewhere on the line.
Yeah. That's really kind of ridiculous. You know, I think he asked that to
Safety.
be polite.
Safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought you'd be a
Were
defensive
you,
back.
in the middle, probably somewhere.
In the thick of it.
In the thick of it. Yeah. I don't want to say what spot did you play, but could you talk to the defense pretty easily because they were pretty
You're
close
pretty
to your
close
face?
to. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hand touched the ball as much as the quarterback. You're like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So he's quarterback here. Come on. All right.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we having here?
Well, another thing that happened in the 70s, plane crashes were just a thing. Like there'd be one or two big ones every year.
Yeah.
Like when's the last time we've had, in the U.S. at least, a commercial aircraft?
I don't.
It's been
Let's knock
years.
on wood. I mean,
Yeah.
you're like you're rooting for one.
No.
Good night.
I don't know of one my whole life. You know, I can't think of a major
in the
one.
U.S., yeah. The one that went down in the Hudson River, maybe.
That might be the last one.
They all survived, didn't they?
It's a plane crash. Tom Hanks won
crash,
an
it was-
Oscar about it.
There was
Yeah.
one a few weeks after 9/11 in New York.
At 9/11.
Well,
I mean, my God, you're like, I don't
yeah,
even
let's
know.
back up a few more weeks.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
some big ones.
Yeah.
on that.
9/11. I guess y'all don't count that. You're talking about falling out of the air.
Well, and so in 1970, Wichita State football team
Yeah.
got killed in a car
Crazy.
in a plane crash. A month later, Marshall's football team
Yeah.
Wow.
plane crash.
And Marshall got a movie.
Yeah. Why didn't Wichita get anything?
I don't know. I guess it wasn't as good a story.
Yeah.
They had two planes, so half the team made it and half the team didn't.
And Marshall, the whole team didn't
Mhm.
make it.
Okay.
hmm That's pretty crazy, though, in college football. In back-to-back months, a team just...
And if you're a college football team, you're like, the percentages are high.
Yeah.
The percentages here are borderline higher than the COVID right now. Like right now you have less chance to die from COVID than you do from a plane crash during that month.
Yeah.
You're going, they're all going down.
Yeah. It's like George Costanza. He asked Keith Hernandez that.
Yeah.
Don't you ever worry about this
Yeah.
the plane crash going down? The first time he meets in the locker room,
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
the odds are just with you. The whole team would just get wiped out.
Yeah.
That's like his opening conversation
Yeah.
with him.
I think there's been a bunch of like Malaysia,
Uh-huh.
that one that just missing.
I guess there's been a bunch.
But crazy, the Malaysia one. I don't know if they haven't found anything, right? Like that's
Maybe
unbelievable.
it's parts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they
debris.
found parts. So it's like the movie Manifest.
mhm.
But they
I watched the pilot of that show, by the way.
yeah. Yeah, you like it?
No.
Oh, the other thing
I thought
that
it was
guy
awful.
loses his job. The brother,
Uh-huh.
to start the episode,
Mhm.
they've been gone for 5 years. They magically reappear, and his workplace still goes, well, we've went a different direction.
Uh-huh.
You don't go, no, we hired him back.
Yeah.
The PR of that alone,
Yeah.
as a company, just to go, you fired one of our alien magic people that just disappeared for 5 years and come back, and you go, we've already filled your
Yeah.
spot. So,
Mhm.
and he's like, I'm looking in the wanted ads for a newspaper.
Mhm.
I mean, for a job. It's ridiculous.
Well, I love that Nate was like, he said, I was out when the guy was like, sorry, I couldn't come. I was busy at work. And that was like maybe 90 seconds into the
yeah.
episode that happened. You were out pretty quick.
Well, that's insane. If it's such a crazy thing,
Yeah.
These people appeared.
Yeah.
They were gone for 5 years. And the guy comes and says they're back
I was
alive.
swamped at work, dude.
And I'm just boo.
I'm
What
a
time do they land? And what time do they land? They just got, I don't know. I'll see her when I see her. She's back. You know?
I think that show got canceled the day you talked about it. So Ronaldo's not the only one that has some power.
It's been canceled.
Oh, I thought it just got canceled last week.
No, I don't think so. But the plane crash is crazy. My brother. So remember the one where that stopped all the big Boeing planes that had a
The 737 Max?
yeah, like remember the plane
Yes.
crash, right? They
Yes.
did that. Have we talked about that? My brother. Did we talk about that on this?
No, I think you just told me.
You ready for this? So, the one it was in maybe Africa or something like that, right? In the plane that just crashed and they shut down all those 737 Boeing Maxes.
Mhm.
My brother was a plane behind that plane
Wow.
at that airport.
Saw that plane on the
Saw
runway.
that plane on the runway. Some of those people, they flew. He was doing a mission trip and they go to Uganda, and so Derek, they went to Toronto first, and so Derek was on a plane with Toronto and all these people. They went to where I forget where was it, wherever they went, and then some people on Derek's plane then went to go get on that flight. Do y'all know that or no? And some it wasn't in Uganda.
No.
It was that's where they were going. It was wherever they were going before that.
Okay.
And so, but Derek and them, they didn't know the plane crashed until they landed.
Mm-hmm.
But they saw it take off. And people that were on that plane that went down were on my brother's flight that went over there, and they just happened to go that way. And Derek was going to Uganda.
Did he have a picture of it out on the?
He has a
runway?
picture of waiting in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a picture, but it's just a picture.
Mm.
And it is crazy to think, like, if you probably went through that picture, you'd be like, some of those people were on that
Mhm.
flight.
Yeah, that is
It's crazy.
Yeah.
really crazy.
Yeah. That was one that was, we did not tell my mom right away.
Yeah.
Like, not that she knew where they were going, but I forget. Yeah. Like, it was something that we didn't mention that my mom didn't realize that they were the plane behind them. Like, we didn't really say that. Like, she knew that they were flying over there, but she didn't realize that it was, which we didn't all realize that
Yeah.
either at first.
That he was that close to it.
That close to it.
Yeah.
Plane that goes up. Yeah. It's crazy.
Did you find something on Manifest?
Yeah, it got canceled a week ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And now they're talking about Netflix trying to save it.
Save it from what? You go, I got a few ideas. Maybe act like the characters care that they magically appeared. I don't like it if a show, it has some crazy thing like that, and then everybody still is kind of whatever about it. That being said, we apparently don't care about aliens here. So,
I like the show Monk a lot.
yeah.
I've seen every episode of Monk, and the premise of Monk is that he's this genius detective,
Mhm.
right? But he's super weird.
Mhm.
And you're like 6 seasons in, Monk has a theory about a case, and they're all like, "Oh, Monk, oh, crazy Monk." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, he solved 100 murders
Yeah.
in the last 6 years, and
Yeah.
nobody still trusts him."
Yeah.
Like,
Here we go.
yeah, oh, Monk up to his.
Ba. And then,
Yeah, he's been right 100%
I
of
mean,
the
he's
time.
got books probably. He's
Yeah.
on the news every night being interviewed. They can't believe that he solved everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The 70s were also the heyday of cults.
Okay.
Oh,
Big cults
nice.
going on.
I could have been in a cult.
Yeah.
I think if a cult would have went after me, they could have had me.
Mhm.
Sunshine
I think,
Cleaners.
from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I think not now, but I mean, if they would have came out the gate,
You think you're good now? You're not.
I think I'm fine now.
Okay.
I'm too old,
Yeah.
and but they could have came out of if they were recruited, they'd have been at my graduation at the steps. I could have probably been talking. To.
Well, Charles Manson, he was that was in his heyday
Yeah.
and stuff. And then the most famous one, maybe.
Heyday's a funny term, This is a good time. That's
Heyday for
that's
cults.
So Walter Payton's heyday, when he was at his best. It was Charles Manson at his best. This is the time we're talking about.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson also. It was during his heyday. Charles Manson, O.J. Wasn't O.J. This was his heyday. Was the 70s?
The 70s. Yeah.
I thought he was more of a 60s guy, but
No.
And the NFL was the 70s.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jonestown. Do you know what Jonestown is?
Yeah, I do, but I know it's bad.
The term "don't drink the Kool-Aid"
It
comes
was from that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just a crazy story that this guy convinced all these people to follow this cult, and then they go down to Guyana, I guess that's how you say that, right, in South
Mhm.
America, and then a congressman comes down there to investigate with people, and they kill him and the NBC News crew that's with him.
They did?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that part.
Some of the
Yeah.
people wanted to escape. Some of the people were like, "You got to get us out of here." So they took
Yeah.
a few people, and then Jim Jones' followers found them at the airport and killed them all.
Just shot him? Like
Yeah. And
at the airport?
hmm
And is that what did them? They get in trouble?
they got a little bit of trouble. That's when he told them they're
Yeah.
coming to get us, so everybody drink this punch. And 900 people committed suicide.
Yeah.
And he didn't. Did he drink it too?
He shot and killed himself.
Oh. And did he tell them like that they're going to die from this punch?
Yeah, I think they knew.
They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
I've actually, and I really regret listening to it, but there are audio tapes of this happening,
Oh, really?
of his last speech, and then you hear people, and I listened to it years ago out of curiosity, and I wish I hadn't.
Yeah.
It's
You know?
gross.
You hear people just dying, like
You hear people, yelling, and then they start to realize what's happening, and they don't like it,
yeah,
to say the least. It's pretty like harrowing,
yeah.
you know.
I would have. I feel like you just wait a second and be like, does everybody drink this Gator? Like,
Yeah.
You got to
900,
fake take
yeah.
a sip.
Yeah.
And be like,
throw it over your shoulder.
What was that?
I mean, everybody else is gonna be dead, so then you get up and walk out.
mhm.
You know, there had to be a couple of those.
Yeah.
Or there were people. I think there were people who were refusing, and then they come up with guns and make them drink it. And-
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Oh.
like way more violent and tragic than even it was in my mind.
Yeah,
Mine, it's this peaceful, like, oh, let's just all sip it. But
Yeah.
nah, dude, it was
yeah. I mean, dying's
a nightmare.
I think dying's like that. It's a little more, I know it's sweet in your head, and you go, "Oh, so they went night night," and you go, "Yeah." They just went a little, kind of close their eyes. All right. There's kids listening to this. Good night. Sorry. Hey, everybody. Sorry.
Sorry about the massacre. Music in the 70s changed.
All right.
There we
go.
go.
Music.
What's the top thing say?
Concorde? You want to talk about that?
Yeah. What is that?
That's the flight, the supersonic flight.
Yeah.
So have you heard of the Concorde?
No.
It's the first supersonic flight. It's faster than the speed of sound, and it could fly you from Europe to U.S. in half the time.
Wow.
And they came with that in the 70s.
Started in 76 and it cost $600 to fly one way between London and
Oh,
Washington.
it worked? People could do it?
They did it for years. Yeah.
Well, why did they stop doing it?
It didn't end until 2003. I think flights got a lot more convenient and
Mhm.
better. And then I think the cost of it was just
flights now are faster than this.
no, they're not faster than this, but I think overall aviation's gotten a lot better. So it's more similar to what this was. I think there's some talk about
look up the Concorde. What's it look like?
it's
There's
kind of slick looking, small.
I didn't know you could like commercially do this.
Yeah, rich people could do it.
That's crazy.
They had to only fly from like East Coast to like London they had to fly only over water because when you break the sound barrier, it causes a sonic boom.
Yeah.
So you can't be flying over populated areas.
I mean, what are the seats like in that?
They said they were pretty tight, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they squeeze people in. They would get over 100 people on that plane.
And then you have to just say, and how long would the flight be?
Half the distance of a normal flight. So what's the flight from New York to London? Was that 6 hours, 7 hours?
Yeah.
So it'd be half that.
3 hours. And you hear, I mean, how fast, do you realize how fast you're going in there?
It's going 1,300 miles per hour.
I know. Do you is it
About 7 hours. That flight is New
Normally.
York to London.
Yeah. And so it's half of that. I mean, do you realize are you just like the whole time just kind of head back and
I don't know about that. They did say it was loud. It was louder than what planes are today.
yeah. So it's not faster than the speed of sound. How's that? But it's, I mean, I feel like you just come right off of it and just go. What surprised you about it? How loud it was. I thought we were outrunning sound, and I mean, you should have heard this guy snore behind me the whole time. I mean, my goodness, noisiest plane I've ever been on in my life.
I was looking forward to a little peace and quiet, to be honest with you.
I was leaving some sound behind, and turns out it was all over me.
It's funny to think about. You can't hear each other till you land, and all of a sudden the conversation's because they catch up.
Yeah. Just, and you go, oh.
Cram it in.
Yeah.
Your conversation's still back over the ocean.
Yeah.
Just got here.
All the flight attendant announcements and everything all just hits you, once at the end.
And the flight attendant.
Man.
There's no drink service at the because we were going so fast. You're like, oh, that's why they didn't come. Why didn't they say that before we started going?
I used to think the speed of sound and the speed of light were basically the same thing, but there's a big difference.
Oh, I've never thought.
Yeah,
of
they're the speed of two different things.
I just thought they were both instantaneous, but light's a lot faster.
Yeah.
How
quick this podcast go down is pretty quick. What's that?
The speed of light.
Yeah. The speed of sound of that statement wasn't fast enough. People wanted it to end quicker than it started.
All right. So music.
Yeah.
Disco was the big thing that happened in the late 70s. Saturday Night Fever.
Bee Gees.
Yep. Bee Gees.
I just watched the Bee Gees documentary. I didn't realize how big they were. I mean, they were about as big as it gets.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At that time, late 70s.
Uh-huh.
Bee Gees and ABBA. And
Bread. My mom liked Bread.
My mom loves Bread.
Yeah.
Bread's a great band.
Yeah. I was talking about the food.
Nate's like, oh, there's a band also?
Yeah.
Funk music took off in the 70s. Heavy metal kind of became a thing because of disco, like Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, stuff like that. Jimi Hendrix and Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin all died at 27. There's a 27 club. Have you guys heard this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so is Kurt Cobain.
Amy Winehouse.
There's like a ton of people. One of the, I think, Rolling Stones.
Wasn't Jim Croce 27 too? I
May
think.
have been.
Yeah. One of the Rolling Stones was?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know one of them died. One of the early on. Then.
Yeah, it was.
The other ones really showed them.
Yeah, they sure did.
They stuck around.
I mean, you can imagine that guy's going, he's up there in heaven just waiting on them. He's like, I mean, how old could they be?
Right, Mick Jagger's still having kids.
Yeah, he's sitting there. Yeah, he's up there waiting on them to get there. Yeah. I thought I'd at least see some of them.
He was going to get the band back together up there.
I mean,
I promise you guys, I was in a great band.
Yeah.
They'll be here.
They'll be here. I just don't. That's unbelievable that they're not.
Elvis was in his fat years.
Yeah.
He did that concert Aloha from Hawaii, which I think we mentioned last week. 1.5 billion viewers.
Yeah.
Watched it.
So many
That's
people.
almost as much as MASH.
Yeah.
MASH started in the 70s.
Oh, yeah. This is a great time. Have you watched MASH?
I've seen some of MASH.
Okay.
It's not like one of my favorite shows.
I mean, you go after it like it's your West Wing.
Yeah.
Was it your parents' West Wing?
My dad was West Wing.
Oh. So MASH was MASH your grandparents' West Wing? Do you think?
Maybe, yeah, I guess so. That was
Do you like
the
I think
MASH?
it was more like Gunsmoke, one of those kind of shows.
Yeah.
Bonanza, all those westerns.
I read that the 70s kind of was the end of the westerns, Bonanza, Gunsmoke, and started the cop dramas. That's when
Chips,
the Rockford Files.
When Andy Griffith went over to
Mayberry?
No, the lawyer when he was
Matlock?
Matlock.
Yeah, that was the 80s.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
That'll be next episode.
Yeah. Don't get ahead.
Yeah.
Do you know the theme song to MASH? What it's called?
Suicide is Painless.
Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's a very morbid
Fits
song.
with the 70s, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, 70s are brutal.
Yeah.
Like that's everything is
Yeah.
a lot of
death and dying,
yeah.
tragedy.
And it's funny that you do think hippie, you think loving. I guess that is the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
The 70s what we had to pay for the 60s.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what someone would say. Like,
Yeah.
I read an AMA on Reddit, like a Ask Me Anything, where somebody just gets on there and answers questions.
Yeah.
This woman that I think was over 100 years old. She was born in like the 20s. This was a few years ago. She's born in the 20s. And somebody was like, "What did you think of like the hippie movement in the 70s?" And she just had such a unique perspective. She was already like a middle-aged, a woman in her.
She was over 100 then?
No, she was like in her 50. No, she
I
was
mean, 100 now.
Yeah, but
yeah.
So, in the 20s, she would have been 50 in the 70s if she's born in 1920.
Right. So she was like, I was a grown adult, and and she like hated these kids. They're selfish. They're annoying.
Yeah.
Just to hear that perspective, I
That's
feel
what
like you
people say
only
now.
hear it from their perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like,
Yeah.
it's all love, dude. Like peace,
Yeah.
peace and harmony. And they're like, no, these kids stunk.
It's
Yeah.
what they should be. You should, in your 20s, it's about that. Like, you
Yeah.
should be like, no, we love everything, blah, blah, whatever.
Uh-huh.
And then you hit your 40s, you become an adult, and you go, no, I have a kid, we have responsibilities. Like, it shifts,
Mhm.
and it should shift. And that's a problem now. I think people don't shift.
They just stay.
I think
what they
people are
were.
getting older, and they're not having kids, and they're 30, and they're so they still got the mindset of a 20-year-old, but they're 30, and like that's you're kind of like, oh, it's like you're
Mhm.
talking. It's not someone that just that's like, no, you got to be a grown up adult. You got to have responsibilities, and people are having kids now in the mid 30s. I mean, I was probably early 30s, but now it's like people are and people are not having children. So then if you don't have children, like if you don't have a family, you don't have like, and not saying anything's wrong or bad about this, but your like desires can be way different than, it's like you can, like sometimes people can be obsessed with Twitter, older than they should be.
Yeah.
Versus someone that's like, I got 4 kids, I don't even know Twitter exists.
Yeah.
And that person, they live different lives.
Mm-hmm.
This person everything's the worst day ever. How's everything going wrong? How do these people doing all this stuff? And then this person, the family's like, I'm barely surviving. I have multiple jobs. And that's the thing. So you got to think about those people. People forget about those people, and they like talk for,
Yeah.
the 30s. But it is pretty interesting. I think that stuff's switching for sure. Back then, I mean, people have kids that my parents were 23 when I was born. Like people had kids that's when they had kids. And now that age has gone way up.
My dad had 3 kids, but now he was my age already.
That's what that's what you did. And that's completely changed now.
Mm-hmm.
The best-selling album of the 70s was Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon. It was on the Billboard Top 200 chart for 741 weeks.
Wow.
I looked that up. That's over 14 years.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
14 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not even that good of an album.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you have
I'm
it?
about to start trashing it.
Yeah.
Most overrated band of all time, dude.
Oh.
No, they're good. I'm just kidding.
All right.
You don't like them.
No, they're great.
Nah,
I
I'm
was
kidding.
just joking.
That's
The,
fine, dude. You don't like them. If
the-
you don't like them, you don't like them. It is what it is.
The Eagles' Greatest Hits was released in 1976, and in 2018, it became the best-selling album of all time.
The greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't tell bands something, then I don't know what does.
What does it tell them?
That's what we want to hear, your greatest hits.
Yeah.
Play your greatest hits. That's the greatest, It's like, yeah, go out there, play the hits, baby.
Did you know their name? Did you know they're Eagles? They're not the Eagles.
I did not know that.
You know that?
Eagles.
They're just Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, Eagles have the first and third best-selling album of all time. That's pretty crazy.
Could you not say
Yeah.
the in front of the sentence, though?
You could, but that if you were just like, what's the name of the band?
Eagles.
Eagles.
Yeah. We're going to see.
But I always
Eagles.
call them the Eagles because it just seems to make sense.
Well, because the sentence you're using probably requires the.
Mm-hmm. But like the Beatles, the name of the band is the Beatles. They're not
Yes.
just Beatles.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Because they were like, you're going to have to say the in front of it every time.
yeah.
So we'll do the work for you. where Eagles are going, no, you got to do the. And you're like, why don't you do it? And they go, no, we don't do it.
Uh-huh.
The Beatles are like, no, we'll do it for you.
Yeah.
We already type it in, the Beatles. And you're like, thanks.
Thanks for typing it for
Yeah.
us.
Aren't you friends with one of the Beatles? I mean, one of the Eagles.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
If it's the Beatles, I'd
I
be
feel like that
impressed.
would have come up.
I go, yeah, Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get him to do when we do London. I don't know where he's from or something.
Liverpool.
Liverpool. And I go, what's Liverpool, man? I thought it was just a soccer team, but it's a place, huh? That's what I would say about Liverpool. That goes, is it? What is Liverpool? I just know it's a soccer team.
Yeah.
But it's a town.
It's a city, yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird name. I like it. Liverpool. You know, that's a crazy.
Oh, it is weird.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
I'm from Liverpool. If it wasn't for, and that's where he's from.
Paul McCartney?
Yeah.
So the
And if he, in the, yeah. I mean, that, yeah. People could get upset about, kids coming over from Liverpool. You're gonna put your wallets away. Like, that sounds like a town that would be. And then they got a great soccer team now, right? Or
I don't
famous one, I don't know.
Yeah, a big one.
And then Paul McCartney. Probably a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
probably
So now they're doing real good. Now who's who?
Mhm.
Liverpool's like, yeah, turn it around on you.
Yeah.
He went back to his old house or something. I saw a video like that once.
He did carpool karaoke
Yeah.
where he went to his old town. That was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Went to his old barber shop and everything. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So no, I did Joe Walsh's 70th birthday. But I think I've talked about that on here. They get
Maybe you have.
when Tom Hanks was there and Ringo Starr. I did a show for Ringo Starr. I was looking in the front row and I was doing my stand up. And
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
So he does have a connection to the Beatles.
Oh yeah,
there
and
you
I
Okay.
do.
You just found out Ringo Starr was in the Beatles.
Yeah. Could I get him on here? You're like, I could at least have a shot.
I could try.
I could try. But with Joe, it was Joe's 70th birthday, and they and I performed, and it was sitting right in the front. I mean, there was everywhere, like Tom, like it was a lot of super famous people there, and then it was Joe Walsh, Ringo Starr, were sitting right up front. That's the only people that performed on the show. I did stand up, and then they both played, and that was the show. And it was at this small kind of thing, and they just had fun.
Did you bury him, dude?
I brought the heat. They did not know. So Joe's a fan of comedy and likes comedy, but I don't think people really knew that I was supposed to be doing this show.
Yeah.
And so I went up, and it's funny as I did the dead horse joke, and I was doing it, and you feel like you're in a place with kind of like people that are real animal activists, and so I'm just talking about this horse being dead, and it was just like kind of tight. Like they're like, "What are you doing?" And then when I said it was alive, the relief that was felt, and then then after that, the set was good. And then,
that's interesting.
but it was like they didn't know. They didn't know. They didn't know me. Like Joe just was like, I want you to perform it. Like he likes comedy. And then when you're up there performing, you can see Tom Hanks, and you're like, it's like, I mean, he's just sitting. I know where he's sitting, and like you're just kind of like you can't stop kind of looking that back way. And then I'm looking down, and then front row is Ringo Starr with the glasses, and Joe Walsh and Brad Paisley and Paul Allen.
And you're up there doing your Liverpool bit about the name of
Where's Liverpool? It's a real tough, rough town, huh? And then Drew Carey was there. Richard Lewis was there. They were very nice to me afterwards. They were like, man, I couldn't believe you went up and did this. It was great.
Man.
But I mean, I was like, why would I not do it? Like, if I was them, I wouldn't do it.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a lot of crazy. It was awesome. And then we just hung out and talked to Tom Hanks and his wife Rita afterwards for a long time. They were very, very cool and nice. And then talked to Joe, and yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
One of the crazier gigs I've ever. I'm probably the craziest gig.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys want to guess the top grossing movie of the 70s?
Jaws.
Oh, great guess.
It's a great guess.
Saturday Night Fever.
Both on the top 10. Jaws is number 2.
Okay, don't say one yet.
All right.
Halloween.
Saturday Night Fever was number 8.
So number 1, Top grossing movie.
MASH the film.
Yeah. The E.T.
That was the 80s.
Oh.
They all blur together,
Titanic.
dude.
Give me any more guess? Or you mean
Oh.
Yeah. Someone's thinking.
Is Halloween not on there?
no?
Yeah. Oh, that's a dumb guess.
Is that really that dumb of a guess? I mean, it's a pretty
Apparently
big
so.
movie.
It's on the top 10.
We watched it at a drive-in
drive-in,
theater.
yeah.
40 years later, it's doing okay.
Yeah, that is true.
Mhm.
That is true. But for the game that we're doing,
The Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston.
No.
That's probably
Is
That
it
was the
obvious?
50s.
Yeah.
Like,
this-
it is obvious. You just
Oh.
hadn't thought of it yet.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
No, it's not going to be that. It's got to be obvious. What's like a 70s movie that's completely obvious?
Blazing Saddles.
Indiana Jones. Final answer.
I don't know.
I don't just say it.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Oh. Oh.
Yep.
I don't think
Good
that's that obvious.
That's like the biggest movie of all. Yeah.
You thought Halloween was over. Star Wars and Jaws.
I forgot. We don't think of Star Wars as a 70s thing. Sorry, I don't. I
Because
mean,
the whole
was it
rest
the
of them
first one was in the 70s and
Yeah.
then the rest were in the 80s?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like me.
then
Barely
then-
got in the 70s, but then we really shined in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s. And then we went down. And now we're back a little.
Yeah. So it was Star Wars, Jaws, Grease, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
That's a good
How many
decade
did
for
you see in a
movies.
theater?
I don't think I saw any of these in the theater.
So The Exorcist at age 8 in a theater.
It was
It's
right after
horrifying.
this that like the early 80s is when I was old enough to start going to movies.
Oh, you never went to a movie in the 70s?
I feel like my mom maybe took me to see The Jungle Book
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. Live play of it. Yeah, there's no theater. There's no screen. It's an act out. The kind of thing. Put a couple dimes in a bucket right before you go sit down. And they goes, that's a lot.
Sports, probably the most famous person of the 70s was Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had multiple fights. I think we showed this too. There was
Gigantic fights.
over billions of viewers. The
Mhm.
Rumble in the Jungle and the Thrill in Manila each had over 1 billion viewers.
Yeah.
Do you remember him being a thing growing up?
I remember his last fight where he lost, and like just the end of his career. I don't remember his
Yeah.
heyday.
Yeah.
When was his last fight?
Early 80s.
Yeah. I don't remember. I remember him. I think he was already like sick or like, what did he have?
Parkinson's. The 96 Olympics in Atlanta
Yeah.
when he lit the
Like
torch.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything I remember is kind of that.
Mhm.
You know, that's like, look at like Michael J. Fox. Like you think, which I mean, it's like 80s. But like how many people don't remember him before Parkinson, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know him
I-
before Parkinson?
Yeah, I knew him from Back to the Future, but that was way after the fact.
Like I remember
You know?
when they said he had it and it was like, still doing great. Still made a show. Like doing awesome.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. The Rumble in the Jungle is where rope-a-dope was a thing, where he basically he conserved his energy and then he came out after.
Yeah, Rumble in the
Yeah.
Jungle is the one that had the most views. I mean, that's so crazy. That's too when you got to look at like the famous, kind of the most famous thing is that kind of thing. Like even like when 1 billion people are watching, dude, like that's a lot. Everybody knows that person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot. Over
billion.
1 billion. I mean, no one watches that. No one does. Not that many people do that stuff. Like where they watch, you know.
Yeah.
Here's Muhammad Ali. It's Muhammad Ali doing
Yeah.
the rope a dope.
It's one of the best.
Just dodging punches,
Yeah.
man. And then he does a little
Yeah.
little shimmy here at the end, mocking him.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
I mean, his hands are just down.
On the ropes.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the greatest sporting just kind of things, right? Moves or crazy kind of thing. That's
Rope-a-dope?
Yeah, maybe that's the number one. If you're listening, it's when he's got his hands on the rope and he's in the corner and he just dodges all the punches.
Uh-huh.
I mean, maybe. That's a professional boxer. Is that Joe Frazier?
That's
Or-
George Foreman.
It's George Foreman. It's not like it's just a dude.
Yeah,
It's
the heavyweight
the
champion.
Second behind, like we would argue, the second greatest boxer of all time. And he just he puts his hands down and then just says, and gets him in a corner. And he goes, just try to hit me. And he dodges every one. I mean, is there a better like athletic kind of move at the?
I can't think.
That's.
Right
I mean,
can't think
it's
of
like
it,
it's like 15 punches.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a one miss. It's so many that George Foreman had to just walk away.
Well, I think he let George tire himself out, and then he finally comes out and starts pounding him.
Yeah. But yeah, Foreman, like just he starts shaking, and then Foreman like kind of gets tired and backs off. I mean, that's crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
So much that Foreman goes, well, this isn't working. I've got him in a corner. He's just in a corner. A man is in a corner, and his hands are down, and I can't. And I'm one of the greatest athletes of all time, and I can't hit this man in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go back to Kent State.
So the Chicago White Sox had some crazy promotions. Their owner was, he would do they play in shorts,
Yeah.
do different stuff.
Yeah.
So they had Disco Demolition Night, and this is the end of the 70s. A lot of people that loved rock music hated disco. So this local shock jock, they worked together, and he did this promotion that in between the doubleheader, bring a disco album, and we'll blow it up in between the doubleheader out on the field. They were expecting 20,000 people. 50,000 people showed up because this shock jock got everybody to come. Instead of just nicely handing over their album, they started throwing them like as weapons. And then they blew it up on the field. Then people charged the field and just started going crazy. And they had to bring out the riot police because people were just getting so out of hand. And they had to obviously cancel the second game.
Yeah, it's hard to go back to a game after that.
Yeah.
After fires and riots on the field.
Yeah. He said it was the worst sports promotion of all time.
Yeah.
Well, it got people at the first game.
Still talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, is it they could be like, is it the worst? 50,000 people showed up. We thought 20. So that's basically, if it would have been double, I got more than double with one game.
We don't even need to do the second
We didn't
game.
even need the second
Yeah.
game.
Maybe it's the best.
Maybe it's the best. And it's the most talked about. We're still talking about it today.
Yeah, we're not talking about bobblehead night still,
Yeah.
This is how you get people there. It's interesting.
The fact that you were allowed to do this stuff back then, it's so crazy to even think to go. They go, yeah, we're just having them throw their records out on the field.
We'll burn them.
And we'll burn them on the field in between the doubleheader. And then they go, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
The World Trade Center's open in the 70s. They were the tallest buildings in the world until less than a year later, the Sears Tower in Chicago passed it.
A year later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in television, sitcoms dominated the 70s. All in the Family was the number one show on television for 5 straight seasons.
Wow.
That's hard to believe. Like a show now could be the number one. And the ratings, they were like in the 30s, meaning a third of the TVs were watching.
Yeah, how many people is that?
Well, I don't know how many people were alive then, but
I mean, how many people are watching their show? They don't ever do it by people.
I just don't know what the breakdown is.
Like 40 million people watching the episode.
Yeah, I think so. It's in the millions.
There are numbers that are nobody's getting today, right?
Oh, by far.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Movies don't even probably get some of these.
Well, like for ratings, like the AFC and NFC championship games, they usually get like a 30 something rating, and they were All in the Family was doing that every week.
AFC the games now get a 30
now,
rating.
yeah.
Oh, and they were
Those shows were doing it because cable wasn't really even a thing. I mean, there was cable, but it wasn't like it is today.
Yeah, yeah.
So you basically had 3 channels. But it was all these Norman Lear shows that just dominated. And then Gary Marshall at Happy Days was one of the top shows. Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company.
Yeah.
You guys see any of these?
Yeah, I've
shows?
seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Happy Days.
Ron Howard, sneaky career. Sneaky, great
Yeah.
career. Andy Griffith, Happy Days, and director,
Yeah,
and a major director.
one of the best.
And his daughter is now a big
Huge
time
actress. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
director. Is it?
What? Really?
Yeah,
What has she directed? Do you know?
stuff. She's look it up. She's directed something recently.
Is it Bryce Howard? Is that her name?
Bryce Dallas.
Yeah,
Oh, Bryce Dallas.
I remember we could have. I don't think she would have done it, but we were like, for like, you get options like when you cast a show, like, all right, here's the people you can go try to ask for, but she was someone that like you just had to offer her the role. Like that's the only thing she would have. The Mandalorian.
A couple episodes of The Mandalorian.
Couple episodes. It's literally a couple. Sorry, but it's pretty. It's only been on 2 seasons, and I guess that's not good enough.
I'm not unimpressed. I'm just saying. I'm trying to.
She's the one in the Jurassic Park movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ron Howard, did he direct Arrested Development or he just did the voice?
I don't know.
Just the voice.
Just the voice.
Okay.
Yeah. But he's had a great career.
All right. Is there some more stuff we're getting pretty loose right here. We're at a table having lunch.
Saturday Night Live debuted 1975. Its first host, George Carlin.
Yeah.
He's the only one still who didn't appear in any sketches.
Oh, he just did the monologue and then pieced out?
Yep.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do it. Richard Pryor won Best Comedy Album in 75, 76, and 77.
It's a nice little run.
For the Grammys, that's pretty crazy.
Domination.
Yep.
Looking for a dismount.
Tracy Austin won the U.S. Open tennis at age 16.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
I guess we're done.
Dude. Is there not like that was it? It's just more of that stuff.
Bookend it with another tragedy, Brian. What else?
I'm not sure.
Somebody get massacred.
We didn't really talk about Watergate, but the oil crisis.
Yeah.
3 Mile Island, I could end on that.
What's that?
Oh.
That was the
nuclear.
It's like Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the worst
It's like our Chernobyl.
Nuclear accident in U.S. history. The reactor almost overblew. It almost had a meltdown at this nuclear reactor. Yeah. The governor of Pennsylvania advised pregnant women and preschool-age children to leave the area within a 5-mile radius, which led to a panic they hoped to avoid when 100,000 people fled the surrounding area. So it had to kind of backfired on them.
Yeah, so just a nightmare.
Yeah.
But no one died.
That's good.
Later on,
we did better.
Later on, they did.
Oh.
Of cancer.
About to say we did better.
Yeah, that's
Soviets,
like that. Well, they get to go. That's the bad part. They're like, yeah, no, everybody survived. You're like, maybe a large number of people died like because of the radiation, cancer, like a few years later. But I mean, the day that happened,
yeah,
people were at the store the next day, which was one of the major problems we found out for the amount of people that died years after that. But yeah, that day, no one was even in danger, and we didn't make everybody leave. Which again,
was it?
Looking back now, is a huge mistake we made because this is why so many people have not survived.
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah.
Pretty gruesome. Maybe could have went and looked at it with a little funner outlook on the 70s, Is there fun stuff?
I think that's just the reality of the times,
70s.
man. I think there's a lot going on.
I mean, I don't know what else. The TV shows and movies and stuff I thought would be funner.
The 80s, probably a little more uplifting.
I think the 80s and 90s, again, like I said at the beginning, will at least have some skin in the game.
Yeah.
As far as stuff that
we can talk about.
I think you'll be surprised. There's some horrible stuff going on in the 80s and 90s. I can't wait to dive in.
I can't wait to get into it. All right, everybody. Y'all have shows?
Yes. This weekend at the Chicago Zanies in Old Town, June 25th through the 27th. Come out. I'm headlining.
Headlining. Chicago Zanies.
Yeah.
First club ever went up.
couple of our folks, Brent and Leanne Cooper, they do a great ministry called Ring of Faith, and they're doing an event Saturday to help the homeless in Nashville. And it's free. We just ask people to bring supplies for homeless that they need. It's from 3 to 6 at it's in Mount Juliet. I forgot the name of the place. I'll put it on my social, but I'm performing there at 5 o'clock.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Good deal.
Good deal. Rain Check Tour, Grand Ole Opry, close to sold out here in Nashville, and we added a bunch of shows in Los Angeles, Pittsburgh. So go to the website, and we will see you next week. All right, bye.
Let's go.
Let's go, folks.